Let me turn this down. Oh, alright. I don't know where to place my phone while I do this. Is this the best place? It doesn't even let me do that. Okay, I'll just place it here. Is that better? Alright, guys, I'm sat in my car, charging my car, and I thought it's a good time to just record a quick video. Maybe not a quick video because I do plan to do a political update summary thing, which I've been meaning to do for a while. If you're new here, I go live, do politics updates and stuff like that. Hello, hello, hello. Let me show you guys what I'm doing. I'm sat in my car like a fool, charging it. How do you flip the camera on this? You guys can't see it. I don't know how to flip the camera. I forgot. Can someone remind me how to flip the camera? Hold on a minute. How do you flip the? Oh, you go flip camera. This is what I'm doing. I'm waiting for my car to charge. This is my first time having a car that I have to charge, and as you guys can see, if I take you outside, just to show you, charging your car is a nightmare. So, I'll see how much it costs. I'll let you guys know. And charge is so ridiculous. But this is the perks. No, no, no. Sorry. She was asking me if I was leaving. I'm not leaving. I've about half an hour left. Anyway, I mentioned a few days ago. Let me actually move my seat forward a little bit. I mentioned a few days ago that I was going to do a little political summary of all the hot button places that are going on. And can you hear me okay, by the way? I don't know if you can. Hope you can. Because I'm just sat in my car. I don't know how good the thing is. Anyway, I wanted to do a summary of all the hot button issues we have going on right now in the world. And I was going to do it like a longer video and post it to my YouTube, but I might as well do it as a live because I usually go live every Sunday, right? But the past few weeks have been a bit challenging. I think I mentioned that in some of my videos. But I think a better place to do that is on live with all my peoples. Call me Nathan is here as usual. Appreciate you, bro. Always supporting, always getting involved in these conversations. Oh, you can't help it. Okay, my bad. Yeah, let me know if you can't hear me at all, because I don't know if it's going through my car, if it's just going through my thing. I will I'll show you guys periodically as my car's still charging. It says half an hour. My battery is tiny, so I didn't expect it to take that long. Yo, what's up, Kevin, man? Um, my battery's tiny, so I don't know why it's taking this long to charge. But it's getting quite hot in here. How have you guys' weeks been? I went out twice this weekend, which is so ridiculous. I don't know. I'm just bullshitting. But life is good, man. Life is good. I'll also let you guys know how much this costs. The reason I'm doing this, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, Kev. The reason I'm doing this is because I got this car last week and I put a full tank of fuel in it. I drive a JQ, by the way, for context. And the fuel is finished, basically, already. So it seems like if you don't charge these cars, they're not very efficient. Like, you just have to charge them. So I want to see if I charge it full, how well that does. I'm going to charge it now and I'm going to go get fuel right after. So everything's going to be 100%. Ali just drove away because there's no spaces. That sounds so annoying. But I'll let you guys know how that does for my efficiency. Anyway. I think Iran is a good place to start. I think it'll be worth doing a quick summary on Iran. Maybe that's the first country I should do because obviously things are getting extremely hot with Iran, and I have about 30 minutes to my car charges. So I think hopefully that should give me enough time to kind of flesh that out. Obviously, Colby Nathan, you probably already know about the political history of Iran and all these things, but I'm going to be posting this to YouTube. So for those that don't know, I think it's important to give like a very quick summary. I don't want to bore people. I imagine if you come across these videos, you already care about politics in some way, so you might already know about those kind of things. And it makes sense just to get to the brass tacks. Quick summary about Iran. Again, I'm not going to get into the scholarly definition, summary of what's been going on, but essentially, Iran used to have their own independent country thing. They were doing their own thing, being quite nationalistic. There was a prime minister called Mossadegh who wanted to nationalize their oil and try to make it benefit the people, at least nominally. When you tell these stories, I'm sure he was also in his own way corrupt. But the unfortunate thing about a lot of the countries that are under the oppression of the West is that there's always a requirement for them to be perfect. like the carbon copy corruption that you have in our country and every other country in the world, it gets ignored. So people will say stuff like, well, Iran's government is corrupt and does X, Y, and Z as a justification for why we should go and overthrow them. Well, I mean, our government is, imprisoning people, Palestine Action, for saying we oppose genocide. Should someone overthrow us? Completely ridiculous rules. And you would even hear it, especially when they want to do regime change. Like there was that whole conversation around how, you know, they oppressed their people and they wasn't letting them protest. Again, even if that's bad, which that might be bad because that might be true, that's no different from other normal country activities. So that should be seen in the context of inter-country struggle, not that, oh, hi, Chi, how are you? Long time. I know I haven't gone live in a few weeks. Just sat in my car charging it, and I thought it'd be a good time to do that. Talking about some political stuff, which I'm going to post to YouTube later on. Let me increase the height of my seat so I can sit back a bit. Anyway, as I was saying, so Iran wanted to nationalize their oil in the 1950s. BP, British Petroleum, because we were involved, they didn't like that so much, so they overthrew the government. Just pause there for a second. The idea that we would not like a country's policies, so we will just remove their president, is so insane. Like, it's so crazy because we do stuff all the time that other people don't like, but you never hear the discourse about like, well, Keir Starmer's so bad, so maybe the Chinese should come and help us overthrow him. That would be a completely ridiculous thing for people to say. But the idea that it gets even discussed as an option shows how mad the whole world is. It's contemplated that we can just go in and destroy a country because we don't like what they're doing. Completely mad then. So anyway, this is meant to be a short summary. It's taking me like 2 minutes to get it out. Quick summary on Iran. Let me do that now. In the 1950s, Iran wanted to nationalize their oil reserves and oil sales and all that kind of stuff. The British didn't like it, so they overthrew the government of Iran and they installed their own dictator that's going to be more compliant to their interests. That lasted about 30 years until the 1980s, and it's very interesting because the Islamic Revolution, the Tangier, it seems like the West. I mean, it's not. It doesn't seem like they rule the world, Nathan. They do rule the. They do rule the world, sadly. And in fact, it's very revealing in the way they speak. Like, Trump is coming now, and people around Trump, like Stephen Miller, they're very committed to the idea that we own the world. So you have to think about what we do in the context of we have force, you don't, therefore we can use it. Like, that's kind of how Stephen Miller talks. When he talks about what happened in Venezuela, they asked him around whether or not it was legal or illegal. That's kind of what he was saying, like more or less, word for word. If I could, get it out up on the internet right now, I probably would. And so going back to that, it was this car's charging is still stuck in 29 minutes for the longest time. How do I know how much? Oh, it's 51% actually. That's actually really, really quick. I think I've been sat here for around, I should have checked how long I've been sat here for, but it's already 50%, which is really good. For context, my battery is only 18 kilowatt hours, so it's not the biggest battery. So again, it shouldn't take too long. Going back to it. So the reason why the Islamic Revolution happened was because part of what the Shah was doing was actually imprisoning, I'm sure assassinating as well, lefty critics. You have to understand something about the West. We don't hate, we love extremists when they're on our side. In fact, every country we go to actively intervene in, we always make sure we pump up the most brutal, despotic, extreme people. That's why we're in bed with the Saudis. The Saudis for the longest time were the proponents of the Wahhabi ideology that is the basis for probably 99%, maybe 99%, don't quote me on that, but a very high significant number of the Islamic fundamentalist terrorism we see all around the world. So you have to ask yourself, if America's been fighting a global war on terror for the past, I don't know, the longest time, why would you be in bed with the Saudis? Also, if you were in bed with the Saudis, why wouldn't you try to pressure them to be more reformist, more forward thinking? Why not? The reason why you wouldn't is because you like that. That is the best way to try and control people or control a place. Because if you think about it, if you want to overthrow a government or you want to, destroy a place, you need mad people. You can't have sane people doing that. Like, I'm nominating the left, all that kind of stuff. If the British government, for example, started becoming really crazy and started attacking people, started, instituting martial law or whatever, I'll be honest, I'd hate it, but I probably wouldn't go in the streets and start like, stoning police and all that kind of stuff. I'll just be protesting it. I might be doing videos critiquing it, all that kind of stuff. The kind of people that are going to be doing the extreme stuff are the right wing Islamic fundamental, like those kind of. It's like in Ukraine, for example, they're the kind of neo-Nazi adjacent Azov battalion. Those are the kind of people you need to do violence, basically. Like, lefties don't do violence. So part of the deliberate strategy that a lot of these Western governments do is that when they go into a country, they always seek to cultivate the most extreme people, because those are the people that are going to do the kind of violence we want done. Again, it's kind of twisted, isn't it? Like, you are cultivating the worst elements of a society because that's going to be useful for your interest. And that's exactly what happened in Iran. The reason why the Islamic Republic were the ones that were able to bring about the revolution was because they were the ones that were being actively funded, and basically propped up as an alternative to the Shah. So when it came to a revolution, the reason why you didn't have a lefty communist revolution in Iran is because all those people were destroyed by the kind of people we have in power. And that's what happens everywhere. Everywhere we go, even to the extent that we could just say, like, because I guess also the lefty people are not going to be compliant to our interests. So on both fronts, they're not violent enough, first of all, but then on the second aspect, they're not really interested in trying to destroy their country to help, US and British corporations make money. Anyway, in the 1980s, the Islamic Revolution happened. They overthrew the Shah, and then, they started instituting their own version of, Islamic theocracy. Now, you hear a critique a lot about Iran, which is like, yeah, but they oppressed their own government. And this was like, there was like when the protests were happening, which became riots very quickly, there was a massive media blitz, even on the left, where people were talking about how, oh my God, how can you not, object to the fact that Iran is an Islamic theocracy and they oppress their people and blah, blah, blah. But no one considers the fact that maybe the people of Iran actually like the Islamic theocracy. I mean, they might. Other people in the world don't have to have the kind of government we want. Like, they can just do their own thing. Oh, by the way, guys, my battery is actually 61%. Let me show you guys. This is really quick. Again, I should have recorded when I got here, but I'm already up to 61%. So this 28 minutes, maybe it's just not real, because when I got here, again, I forgot what percentage I was on when I got here, but it's actually charging really quickly. So maybe in about 20 more minutes, I could probably leave here. And I'll go get fuel, and we'll see what that does to my fuel efficiency over the next week. Anyway, as I was saying, so the first thing about that is that since since the Islamic Revolution happened, Iran became more Islamic theocracy, whatever. They started to weave in elements of Islam into the way they run their country. Now, everyone critiques that and talks about how that's so bad, which, again, if I lived in Iran, I'd probably prefer that not to be the case, maybe. Right? I don't live there, though. That's up to them and what they like to do. I mean, Israel runs their country that way. Like, the Judaism, whatever version of it you believe in, is actively woven into the fabric of the country. If anything, America's the same thing. I mean, America right now has a government where there are Christian Zionists who believe it's their job to help Israel ethnically cleanse the Palestinian people. Should we go and overthrow America? I mean, I wouldn't really mind if we overthrew America. But the idea that just because people have, elements of religion woven into their political whatever, then we have to go and overthrow them. It's insane, because every country has that. America has that. No one's going to make that point, obviously, even though America's brand of Christian fundamentalism is clearly more extreme than Iran's, because that is the basis for which they're using to support Israel's campaign of genocide in Gaza, but also what they're using to justify Israel's actions in Syria and in Lebanon and in Iran right now. So who's more extremist? If you actually just break it down, like, in terms of people using their ideology to promote violence, who's doing that between Israel, the US, and Iran? Who's doing that out of all those three? It's extremely obvious that it's Israel and the US. Like, Israel's basis for regional domination is that we're Jewish people and we have a God-given right to own this entire land. That's literally it. But somehow Iran's meant to be the one that we're meant to be critiquing from a Islamic theocracy point of view, because Iran is somehow, oppressing its people with, their Islamic fundamentalism. Now, interesting thing about Iran also is that people that live in Iran and people that have gone to Iran recently have mentioned the fact that they don't really enforce stuff like the kind of hijab mandate and all that kind of stuff, which I think that's probably very wise of them, because if you're under threat from people like the US and all these kind of things, forcing people to wear a hijab is just not that important, is it? So it's smart of them to just drop that because it's not really that important. In the context of trying to have an effective running country, mandating people dress a certain way doesn't seem that relevant. People are hungry. People want to eat. That's what we should be focusing on. And so what's been happening over the past few years is that when Trump was running, especially the second time, I wrote an article about this, which I can try and dig up, just to show you guys I'm not a Johnny come lately on this. This is why you should stay with Wayne World Weekly. I am extremely prescient on these things. And again, this is also a critique of the media in my view, because years ago, when Trump was running for his second term, there's a woman called Miriam Adelson, right? She did an interview with, I think it was Time Magazine, in which she mentioned clearly all the things that Trump is doing now. She mentioned how this was her goal as part of why she was supporting Trump. She mentioned Israeli sovereignty in the West Bank. She mentioned Iran, all these things. It's a wish list of Netanyahu's, biggest wet dreams, were all the things she was mentioning. So the idea that this is somehow new, and so when the media hears the fact that, oh, we want to attack Iran, and the pretext is that they oppress Iran people. Well, no, because Miriam Adelson already told us that this is the reason why she's giving Trump tens or maybe hundreds of millions of dollars, because there's a wish list that Netanyahu has that she's going to help him put into place. That's already been mentioned. So the idea that now it's organic this is why I have such disdain for the media. One of the subtle and the most powerful ways that the media does disinformation or fake news is that Trump is going to be like, I want to attack Iran because they have a lot of oil and I need to take it. Then you might have some other people that are not Trump say stuff like, well, Iran is a threat to national security and they want to, they're a threat to, they want to dominate the world. Then the media is going to be like, let's investigate if Iran really wants to take over the world. Guys, we know Iran doesn't want to take over the world. Why can't you just call it as it is and just be like, oh, what Trump and this other person said is bullshit? Just say that. You don't have to couch it in, oh, let's investigate and see what's true and what's not, because you already know it's not true. And so that's the best way that the media has been pushing the Iran regime change propaganda war this whole time. Everyone knows the reason why the war is gonna happen is because Israel wants it. Netanyahu has been campaigning for war with Iran for decades. Miriam Adelson, one of Netanyahu's key funders, came out and said that one of the main reasons why she's giving Trump loads of money is because she wants Trump to help Israel attack Iran. Then the regime change propagandists now come out and say, oh, Israel fomented a riot in Iran as part of this regime change ambition. Now the media is like, let's actually see what these protests are about. Let's see if these protests are really about trying to, have some democracy and because they want to overthrow their own government. Guys, it's all part of the plan that's been laid out years ago that everyone involved has already admitted to. Why are you now pretending as though there's a neutral thing to consider on whether or not this is just objectively ordinary Iranian people yearning for freedom, as opposed to what it really was, which was a riot instigated by the Mossad as part of the public relations management of the regime change? Like, you have to understand, regime change has a lot of elements. There's a direct element where eventually we're going to start dropping bombs on them. But there's also the element where we have to always sell it to the public with a kind of narrative. And what's been almost refreshing to see in the last, few weeks is that the narrative is completely blown apart. Like, now they don't even pretend and bother with the narrative anymore. Now it's just, we're going to attack Iran. That's it. Why are we going to do it? Because we can. We have force and they don't, and we're going to do it. That's really what their rationale is. And the media doesn't even bother to push them. The media doesn't, challenge them on it. It doesn't say like, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe this is immoral. Have you heard the word morality in the news over the past, I don't know, ever since you've been watching it, really? Like, has anyone ever talked about what we do in the context of this is immoral? When we talk about other regimes, our favorite word for governments we don't like, we're always quick to talk about how it's a barbaric attack on their people. Have we ever used those kind of strong language? You never hear about morality. If I heard that word in the news, I'm sure anytime you hear anything to do with morality or any normative angle in the news, it's because they're probably critiquing other governments, not our own. Those kind of values are only reserved for other governments that are doing bad things. When we do bad things, we're not going to critique that. So it's really sick. It's really really sick. And so where we are now lately is that I saw an article yesterday that said, isn't the news just supposed to pass information? I don't think so, Bernard. I completely disagree with that. I don't think the news is just meant to just pass information. I think if someone said to you the sky is green, as a news outlet, you can't just say the sky is green. Well, no, it's not green. So you can just say it's not green. You don't have to you know, loan, because if you think about what they're doing, it's a public relations exercise, right? They're trying to use the media to sell a lie to the people. You know, as the media, even just as a person that has some basic shame, if someone is lying to me, I'm not gonna go and then repeat that lie. It's embarrassing to me. I know it's a lie. Why would I help you further a lie for your own ends? Even just as a human being, he said they should pass correct information, but opinions about morality is secondary. Well, not really though. I don't think it is secondary. I think if we're destroying people's lives, even if the media doesn't say, I think it's immoral to destroy other people's countries because Israel wants us to, they can just say that. They can just say, we're destroying this country because Israel wants to, and that's the truth. Oh, let's leave it to the people that are watching the news to decide whether or not that's moral or immoral. Just say the facts as they are. That's what I'm saying, Bernard. I'm not saying like they have to go on there and start. I mean, it would be nice. They are human beings as well. At the end of the day, I know you said the media doesn't care about morality. If the BBC was reporting on a terror attack on UK soil, you better believe they're going to talk about how immoral it is. Why? Because they care about British people. The fact that we're seeing our fellow citizens being blown up, that matters to us. So why is it that are the Iranians not people too? Like they don't deserve sympathy, they don't deserve to be treated as basic human beings? Why not? And so I don't know, maybe you have somewhat of a point in saying like if you're talking about morality, it clouds your objectivity. But I mean, what we're objectively doing is morally despicable. So I don't think it's a moral judgment that's questionable. I think we are just morally despicable people. There are psychopathic people that run our governments that are committed to the destruction of other people's lives. We should say it like that. Like that's true. Those are exactly what the facts are. And we shouldn't be ashamed to say that. Quick update on the car. I am now at 79%. For context, I just started to go live because I usually go live every Sunday, and I got a hybrid car now, which I have to charge. So if I'm sitting here charging my car, I might as well give you guys the latest and greatest on politics. So we're doing it around today. This is going really, really well. So as I was saying, where we are now is that I read somewhere that the Iranian government basically believe the attack is going to come, and I'm guessing they're going to try to assassinate their leaders. Again, just think about what we're doing. We're assassinating people. This is like a hitman, like a film. Well, let's take out that guy. Take out that guy. What are we doing? What are we doing? Bonner said an opinion piece is different from factual information. I mean, yes, but is it opinion that we're going to destroy Iran because Israel wants us to? That's a fact. That's not conjecture. That's been reported by the media before anyway. Like the people that are funding this current campaign of destruction have said that's their aim. I don't think that's opinion to report that, right? Now, if you take the leap from the fact that Israel is choosing to destroy Iran, a country of 90 million people, and plunge their people into, a crisis, make them a failed state, and kill thousands of people, I don't think you need any moral language for you to be clear, like that's an immoral thing to do. I think that's already obvious based on those facts. Like, to me, anyway. Let me know if you disagree with that, Bernard. But I think those facts on their face make it very clear, like this is despicable. But if they don't want to add a language to then say, and I think that's despicable, that's fair enough. I don't think you have to add that. If you just present the facts as they are, like I said, if that was something that was happening to our country, how do you think they would be reporting it? If China is planning right now because Keir Starmer is so bad and they just love the British people so much, If China's planning to invade our country and people are making plans for the fact that their loved ones are going to lose their lives, maybe tomorrow or the day after that, when the Chinese bombs start dropping. Again, I ask you, how do you think the media will be reporting that? Do you think we'd say, well, let's just remain objective and just, why does China want to destroy us? Well, they really care about human rights. That's what they say. So I guess we have to take them at their word. Is that what they'll be saying? I don't think so. Is it cheaper than having a internal combustion car? Burner, I'll be honest. Wait, lost connection. Oh, there we go. I'm still trying to figure that out. I got this car last week and I'll see how much this charging costs me. It shouldn't cost me more than £10 or so, I believe. It says 56 pence per kilowatt hour. I'm at a Tesla supercharger for context, by the way. So they're not actually as much more expensive than the regular chargers because I can't charge at home, sadly. So the charger I had near my house, it said 7 kilowatt hours and it was around 54 pence per kilowatt hour. Not that much more cheaper. So Tesla is 56 and I buy fuel around here. So we'll see. Once I charge it up full and I'm going to fill up my tank full as well, I'll see what there's like. I add a full tank a week ago and I've already used it up. So clearly that's not really what I'm looking for. So I'm hoping that if I'm in the UK. We have Werner, you're too funny. Why do you make the UK sound like some kind of a backwater place? I mean, we have Teslas here. Let me show you. I'll show you. We have superchargers here. Like the UK is not a poor country. Like, yeah, come on, bro. Let me show you. So not all the superchargers can charge non Tesla cars, but this is actually a whole road. It is about 14, 15, all the way down there. So yes, we do have superchargers in the UK, but come on, bro. Are you in America? Where you at? Anyway, oh, you're in the UK. You haven't seen any superchargers. Oh yeah. Well, I think there's Tesla says it's got to be superchargers. That's my car moving my seat back forward. I love this car. It's so sick. Anyway, Bernie, you asked why do I think this is all happening? I already told you, bro. Israel wants it. That's literally it. Now, if you're asking why does Israel want to destroy the government of Iran, that's a very good question. And if I'm being honest with you, there are some people that will try to give you their justification and their rationale based on geopolitics, like Israel wants to be the only dominant country in the region, blah blah. And I think there's probably an element of truth to that. Like if you think about geopolitics, which I hate geopolitics because it's like Game of Thrones. Like Israel is in this Middle Eastern region, right? And they're like, other countries have power and we don't like that. We have to be the dominant superpower in this area. So the fact that Iran also has some relative regional power, we don't like that. So we're going to destroy their country and plunge tens of millions of people into misery just so we can be the dominant power in this region. What is this? What kind of justification is that? My only answer to that is that, as I've said before, we're run by psychopaths. And if you guys saw the interview of the US ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee Sanders, who really is the Israeli ambassador to the US. Every US ambassador to Israel, their role is actually really flipped. Their primary role is to represent Israel to the US, not not the other way around. Because I remember when it came out that obviously Israel was persecuting some Christians in the West Bank. You had Mike Huckabee Sanders, the US ambassador, defending them and talking about how they've actually really nice, they've actually helped Christians and they protected churches, blah blah. If you're the US ambassador to Israel, why is your role to be advocating for the Israeli government? It's not very clear. Well, back to that specific question, why did this happen, Bernard? I'll be honest with you. The main reason why this is happening is that people like Benjamin Netanyahu are probably clinically psychopathic people. I'm laughing as I'm saying that, but it's probably 100% true. Like, these are people that are committed to a destruction of the world. There's a film, there's a Batman film. I don't know if you guys, Nathan, I don't know if you remember this one. It was one of the Batman films from it was when Bane was it was Bane and what do you call the other guy? It was Christian Bale that was playing Batman. And was it Christian Bale? I think it was. And Alfred, that was played by this British guy, said, some men just want to watch the world burn. Netanyahu is a good example of that. His real purpose is he just wants to destroy the world. Like that's the only thing I can surmise from him. Like, I'm sure there's some 3D level chess of geopolitics at play here. But really and truly, these people, I think they couch their madness in geopolitics. Like these are just deranged people that just find justification for mad behavior. I don't think there's any real geopolitical value in destroying Iran because Iran leaves Israel alone. It doesn't bother them. Like Israel's been doing a genocide in Gaza and Iran has not done anything about it. So Israel's getting whatever it wants. In Syria, in Lebanon, no one's stopping them. So why would you want to go and attack Iran again? These are just demented people, and I think they don't have any rhyme or reason why they do what they do. The Dark Knight Rises, that's exactly. I think that's the one. A burner, a very very good spot from you. Like that was a great film. Some men just want to watch the world burn. Like you can't explain why they do what they do. Like these are crazy people, and obviously, in terms of why, in terms of why America's supporting them, it's money. Like Netanyahu said it very well. There was an interview he did. I think it was in like early 2000s something, and he said America's a place you can control very easily. He's completely correct because if you think about the world view and the world system that is prevalent in places like America, money rules the world. So you can donate, I don't know, £100,000 to a bunch of politicians, and they can then use that money as lobbying to then help you get millions of pounds of dollars. I almost said naira of dollars from the U.S. government, and that's kind of what's happening. Trump was funded by people like Mary Madelson who have ideological things they want to push. Therefore, Trump is now carrying that out as payback. You fund my campaign to help me become president, and in turn, I'll use the might of the US military to help you destroy your enemies. So America's being run like a sectarian government. People that have various ethnic gripes, they use the U.S. government as their vehicle to do that. So in Iran, that's the case. In Cuba, you have the former Cuban immigrants like Marco Rubio and the Florida elite using their playing out their own ethnic grievances with the Cuban government and using that to try and destroy Cuba. That's kind of why it's happening, Burner. It's a very strange situation. I'll be honest. I don't really understand it. So right now, as I've said, in my videos, the Iran war is gonna happen. Give it 2 weeks, give it 3 weeks, maybe less. It's gonna happen, 100%. It's been reported that America has amassed a force off the coast of Iran that's about as much as they did when they were gonna do shock and awe in Iraq. You don't do all those things to then say, "Oh, let's go back home." Like they've put refueling stations. The supply chain is all connected. There's no reason why you do all that and then be like, "Oh, actually, guys, we're not going to do a war anymore." The war's happening. The what do you call it? Steve Witkoff, who's Trump's U.S. envoy, he's come out and said they're surprised that Iran hasn't capitulated since the U.S. has kind of amassed all these kind of force on their border. I don't know what they want. I guess what they want the government to resign or what? Like, I don't even get it. Like, what exactly is the aim here? Just clearly the aim is to destroy Iran because there's no other rational reason why you'll be doing this. My battery's up to 91%, guys. By the way, just saying. I'll see how much this costs. I'll see how much this costs when I our battery is a bit crazy. But I'm hoping I get some money back because that would be insane. What do you mean £20? I thought it was 56 kilowatt hours per, 56p per kilowatt hour. That was what I read. So I'm a bit surprised by £20, but maybe it's just a holding amount or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see. So as I was saying, the commitment of the Americans to destroy Iran right now is absolute, and that destruction will be happening. It's very, Berna was asking me earlier about the media not, it's not their job to report stuff morally. Like I said before, if someone else was doing this to us, how would we want it to be reported? A blatant act of aggression being done because some psychopathic people want it to be done. I think the only way to report that is that this is despicable and F these people. When this stuff starts to happen, and I'm sure maybe it's very likely that some American soldiers are going to lose their lives. They're going to be like, oh, they died in serving their country. To do what? Serving their country to do what? You know, under international law, those soldiers have a moral obligation to refuse to serve in this. Like they should be able to be like, and it will be defended in saying, we don't want to go and fight an unjust war of aggression because Israel wants us to. Like, just think about that. You're going to be losing your lives because Israel wants it to happen. No. And my whole theory on this is that eventually Israel's going to bite off more than we can chew. Um, the idea that the absolute power they enjoy right now to destroy governments, to control governments, to destroy our free speech and our the liberal kind of, generally speaking, obviously liberal economies and countries we have, I don't think that can last very long. Um, I even saw a tweet today where this guy was complaining about how some Ryanair staff had a pin that really offended him and it was blatantly anti-Semitic, and the pin was something, because the guy was Irish. The pin said Palestine. So like, Irish people call themselves Paddy and Patrick and all that kind of stuff. So it was an amalgamation of Paddy and Palestine. And you had this Israeli guy. Well, this actually wasn't Israeli, it was British, he was Jewish obviously, shrieking about, oh my god, this is so offensive to me, I'm gonna lose my mind, I can't. Again, that kind of domination they enjoy over speech, it's not gonna last forever. And the unfortunate thing about it, which is that I presume and I suppose the backlash is going to be in a way that no one can ever even imagine. Because a lot of people that critique Israel, of course, they don't hate Jewish people. Like, no one cares about them enough to hate them. They just want them to stop doing oppression to the Palestinians. But you do have some very twisted people out there that do have animus for Jewish people just because they're Jewish. And unfortunately, those are the kind of things that always get amplified when this backlash starts, which is going to be very unfortunate. But that's kind of what I see with Iran going on right now. It continues to frustrate me that it's not reported very openly and clearly that this is being done because Israel wants it done. Like, that's literally what everyone should be talking about. That's the reason why this is happening. But it doesn't seem like, it doesn't seem like the media still continue to pretend, especially now that the protests, which are really again just riots instigated by the Mossad, now that that's died down, the justification for doing it is kind of gone away. So it wouldn't make sense to be like, we're targeting Iran because they oppress their own people. But that was weeks ago. And why do we need the largest, naval show force since, the Iraq War to help the Iranian people defend themselves against their tyrannical government? In any case, when have we ever cared about tyrannical governments? Like, these are the kind of questions that it just makes me want to rip my hair out. And it's even more frustrating because you have sometimes where lefty people go on these things, question time and all these kind of stuff. And the conversation is always going to be like, oh, let's remember, guys, when the Iraq war happened, it ended up being a lot more costly and complicated than we expected. That's not the reason why we shouldn't do the war. That framing lets them off because now all they can say is actually, this time we'll just do it nicer and more careful and everything's going to be fine. No, that's not the point. The point is not that it wasn't done properly. The point is that we have no rights to be destroying other people's countries. No, like, people like James Schneider and how exactly that's how they frame World War One and World War One and Two. Like, people lost their lives in numbers we've never seen before, and the narrative is always like, oh, well, World War Two is like, well, we had to stop Hitler, which I guess there was some value in that kind of approach and thing, because I guess Hitler was a menace and Hitler did have world domination on his mind, so fair enough. But obviously, World War One, we all learn about World War One in school. I don't know, Nathan. I think you're from the UK, right? We learn about when the Gavrilo Princip shot the Archduke and all that kind of nonsense. It's still again a very silly reason for people to be fighting global wars because one Duke got killed in Bosnia, and there's like, bro, all these tiny countries that no one cares no one cares about. Did we really have to have millions of people die because of this? Did we really? Not really. But those kind of silly leftists that you get on TV, Aaron Bastani and Ash Sagar, or is it Sakar? I can't remember her name. And James Schneider. You know, if you ever got me on Question Time or anything like that, I'll be going at the media. So if they ask me a question and they say something like, what do you think should happen in Iran? No, no. What do you think should happen in Iran? Because Berna mentioned it earlier. These people speak as though they don't have opinion. They always try and couch it in objectivity. So it's always good for you to throw the question back at them and say, like, hold on a minute. No, no. What do you think? I want to hear what your position is like. What do you think sounds good? Or maybe what I'll do is I'll mention something completely crazy. I'll say something like, I think we should destroy Iran, maybe kill 2 million people. Again, TikTok, I'm not saying we should actually do this, by the way. Although, if you ban me for that, given that Trump and his allies are committed to doing that, it would be a bit funny, wouldn't it? Anyway, I'll say something over the top like that. Like, yeah, we should, totally destroy Iran, do what we want to it, then install an Israeli approved prime minister to run the country and plunder their resources for our benefit, which is really what we're trying to do. But I'll say it in that kind of plain language, and I want to see if they correct you and be like, oh, but isn't that bad? Because then I can then be like, oh, so you think that's bad, but isn't that what we're doing now? you know. But it always irritates me and frustrates me that these media people never go at it. These leftists never go at it from that angle. They always, once you buy into the narrative that for some reason we're somehow justified in what we're doing, then it's very easy to talk. Once you're already in there, then the justification just becomes about how much we do, how less we do. Like if the conversation starts by saying something like, oh, if the conversation starts by saying something like, um, I believe the Islamic regime is a despicable, theocratic, blah blah, who needs to be removed and liberalized, you've already bought into what the narrative. Now it becomes about should we do it? Now it becomes about why should we do it? Now it becomes about how should we do it? Not even no, sorry, the why is removed. Ignore that. It becomes about how do we do it? Then they can tell you, well, we can do targeted strikes that decapitate the regime. Murdering people just so we can have other people go in there. And people talk about that as though that actually makes sense. So it's very important that even the narrative of like Iran is a Islamic theocratic country. So what? So what? Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, they are Islamic theocratic countries. Should we go in there and have decapitation strikes and remove Mohammed bin Salman and bin Zayed and all these other people? Should we remove them? We should, right? Since you believe that this is the basis for us doing, regime change and destroying people, then we should be doing that. Why don't you buy into that? That's another angle they can take. Like, if you buy into the justification for them doing it, then it just becomes about, how should we do it? So that's the first place to start. Attack the justification first and saying, if Iran is a Islamic theocratic country, so what? Yeah, what of it? I don't care. That is not my concern, mate. That is not my concern. That is for the people of Iran to sort out. Oh, but Iran oppresses its own people. Well, right now in our country, people are being arrested for supporting Palestine action. Right now in the US, ICE is walking around covering their faces. They've killed people. But I actually read a story this morning of someone dying in ICE detention. I guess since that's so bad, we should go in there and overthrow the US government, right? Oh, really? We can't just do that? So it seems like we can just overthrow the people we want to overthrow. And so the justification is clearly secondary to the reason why we're doing what we're doing. My battery's on 96%. This is great. I might have to end the live soon because I do have to like unplug and just drive out of here. And I think the live might challenge me if I'm driving while I'm doing a live stream. But I think I'll just drive to one of those spots over there and I'll wrap up the live once the battery finishes charging. I think these things also penalize you if you stay longer than once your charge is full, you have to get out. And if you don't get out, they will they will start charging you. So I'll let you guys know how much it costs. Hopefully, again, it doesn't cost £20 to charge a bloody 18 kilowatt hour battery because I think my full tank is probably going to be. I'll check. I actually made the mistake last time when I went to buy fuel of buying the premium petrol. No one sent my ass to be doing that. It's 10p extra, which I'd rather have 10p than not have it. But it's gonna be fun to see how the car performs with a full battery. But that's kind of what's going on with Iran. If you're new to my, this is going on YouTube, so Nathan, you're laughing. If you're new to my YouTube, thank you for watching the video. Thank you for sticking around. I will be doing videos on Nigeria. I think this is actually a good place to be doing it. Like when I come to charge, we have to charge this car pretty regularly. So when I'm here, I might as well just do a live stream. I'm gonna be doing Nigeria soon. I'm gonna be doing where else? The US, obviously Israel, Gaza. And yeah, just let me know if you guys have any general questions. I think I'll stick around for a few more minutes. So it's like any general questions on politics and stuff. Obviously, I haven't. Even my posting kind of speed has slowed down a little bit just because I've been so busy. So it's always nice to just get on here and just rap. You know, Nathan, I always love just chatting to you, just rapping about whatever, man, getting shit off my chest. So always appreciate that. Anyone else that's joining me, this is What in World Weekly. I talk about politics and social issues actually, not just politics. Just telling you guys what exactly is going on in the world, man. Like that's what we do around here. And I know my growth has slowed down a little bit over the past few days, but we're gonna keep it going, stay consistent. Growth is not linear, so that's what it is. I'm gonna be doing some videos about my car. I'm gonna weave it into like a critique on China versus US because I guess it is right. Like I'm driving a Chinese car. Obviously, in the US, people can't even drive Chinese cars because they don't make them available. I'm sure a lot of people in the US, it's really people that are, poorer, they would love to be in a Chinese car because those cars are cheap and they have a million features. Like I love my Chinese car. So it is a commentary also on the kind of geopolitical struggle that's going on, the Cold War that's increasingly becoming a hot war between the US and China. This is a very great piece of Chinese propaganda, this car. And I don't mean that negatively. The car's cheap, but since you guys are here, I'll just tell you, I only pay £300 a month for this car. In fact, it's actually 290 something. It's a lease, so it's a 25 plate. I'm paying £300 a month for. I kid you not. When I went out last night and this girl got in my car, she was like, "Wow, your car is so nice." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you." So, if you're someone like me who's young, has a bit of money to spend, but you don't want to be spending, £700 on a GLC or whatever. Like, what's not to like? Even when my boy came into it yesterday, he was like, "Yeah, this is neat. Like, £300 a month. It's a 2-year lease. So by the time that finishes, I'm gonna get another 2028, or whatever the next car is at that time." It does the job. Drives extremely smooth. There's a lot to like about it. If you're a car purist, I'm guessing there's some stuff not to like about it, like the fact that when I go around corners, the car does feel quite light, which again, I don't care because I'm not a car purist. The car looks good and it gets people's heads turning, which is really what I care about. But if you care about those kind of things, there's a Tesla in front of me. Well, Tesla don't make hybrids, maybe it's not one-to-one comparison. But the fact that you can have a car like this that can work on a supercharger network and you know blows these cars out of the water when it comes to price, that's an incredible piece of Chinese propaganda, and it just goes to show you again how much farther ahead the Chinese are in terms of these things. Because obviously the US might be ahead in terms of like Tesla's ahead in terms of like technology and batteries and stuff like, which is why again I'm using the Tesla supercharger and not the Chinese version. But I'm sure if you give the Chinese enough time, they can make their own that starts to like clean these people out of the water. And when they start doing that, it's probably going to be cheaper as well. Because again, it's what these cars have exposed is that our systems are just designed to rip us off. There's no reason why a lot of these cars should cost what they cost. Like my car has a sunroof, which I can actually open right now. Okay, I got to turn the car on. Let me show you guys. So I can open the sunroof right now, and if you had a GLC or something and you wanted to have a sunroof, you probably have to pay some nonsense price for that. You probably have to pay like I know it actually doesn't help me with the noise, but if you want to get a GLC and you want to get a sunroof, you probably have to pay another. Let me show you guys outside, see what it looks like. I haven't actually stuck my head out of that place myself, but if you want to get a GLC, you want to configure one right now, you want to pay get a sunroof, you have to pay another nonsense extra XYZ price. Why should I have to do that? Just give me everything as standard. This is why I love the Chinese. All hail Chairman Xi. I love him. I love him. Like he just keeps stuff simple. If I'm buying a car, of course I want all the best things the car has to offer. And I think someone asked me earlier why I decided to go for the plug-in hybrid. It's because in the range, the plug-in hybrid is like the luxury version. So it has like a bigger screen and all the other stuff. So I could have gone with the all-wheel drive petrol, but I was actually thinking this would be cheaper to run. Again, we'll see after I charge it up and I put the fuel in it. Maybe I'll be regretting that. But I also like the fact that the gear selector is on the driver thing. Let me show you guys. Since we're doing a quick car review, so this is what it looks like from the captain's seat. The gear selector's here, which I like about this one. On the petrol version, the gear selector's here. which is, it's not so bad, but it's alright. You got your wireless charging over there, got your big ass screen right here, which super responsive. Heads up display, which you can see over there, very nice. Interesting heads up display as well. If you're using navigation, it actually gives you the navigation in the heads up display as well. But that's only if you're using the cars one. Maybe I can show you guys. If I just put some random place, let me just put this place or something and show you guys what that looks like. See, can you see that? I don't know if you guys can see. He puts like, to turn left and turn right, all that stuff goes in there, which is super, super cool. So that's really nice. What else is there to know? This controls most stuff. Obviously, you got your heated seats, which you can turn on, turn off. You got your, let me just turn that off. You got your heated steering wheel, which you can turn on, turn off, all that stuff. You got your ambient lighting, all that kind of stuff. So again, if you're gonna give me a car, just give me everything. Okay, don't be hiding stuff and say, oh, if you pay to the £2,000 extra, yeah, heated steering wheel, heated seats, ventilated seats. Heated steering wheel is actually very useful because it doesn't get. I thought it would get really hot, but it doesn't get that hot actually. But it's very nice. It's very, and you can also heat the car before you get in it. So like, if I left the car and I was gonna come back to it, I can just have it turned on, and by the time I get there, it's gonna be warm. Stuff like that is very useful. But this is what the Chinese are doing to just they're destroying America. All the things that matters. Like right now, America's spending, I don't know how much it's costing them to maintain the fleet off the coast of Iran, but you're spending, I'm sure, probably like $10 million a day or something crazy like that. Again, all for a war that Israel wants. Not even a war you want. Like, obviously, it would be despicable if you wanted that war. But the fact, ooh, that's my car key. But the fact that it's not even a war that your country wants. This is what the car key looks like, which is very annoying. There's nothing to hang it on, which is why it just slips out of my pocket. Like, I tried to buy something that to hang it on, and it was just too slippery. Like, it didn't fit. Because the only thing you can do is like buy like a bag or something that you put it in and you zip it. The whole thing's a fact. Like, that's one critique of this car. Can we make a key? Oh, is that meant to be? No, it's not. Can you make a key that you can hang, like you can put in a chain or something? Like, bro, just holding this, like, how easy is this to lose? Very annoying. So I have to put it in my pocket and zip it up because no, it's like, well, you need key ring, something. But I bought something to try and put it in, but it didn't quite work. It was just like it was like a thing. It was like you put the key in it and you kind of zip it up, which is a bit like, bro. I mean, come on, China. Like, look at me backing you guys here, but come on, let's tighten up a little bit. That bit I didn't love so much, but other than that, um, I haven't really found many complaints about the car. And again, I think it's a good commentary on the kind of war. Like China's, focusing on making amazing cars that cost £35,000, while the US is focused right now on trying to destroy Iran. Okay, interesting. Those are your priorities. Very revealing stuff. And I imagine, if China keeps going the way they are, maybe this car in the next 10 years might cost £15,000 and they'll make something that's even nicer that costs £35,000. In the same time, what would the US be doing? Complete nonsense. Funding AI that undresses people and removes their clothes and all these kind of foolishness. Can we fund stuff that actually works? Like, let's fund practical things. Why are we funding nonsense? What happens to the idea of everyone having their own robot, all that kind of stuff? If they're spending a fraction of the money they're spending on trying to destroy Iran, on trying to improve, their, I don't know, EV system or just make their country more efficient or provide jobs, isn't that a better use of money? Obviously, but Israel runs our country, so whatever they say and whatever they want, we're gonna do. It's extremely sad, very very depressing stuff. So I've actually been sat here for it's 4:04. I've been sat here for how long have I been sat here? How long has this live stream been going on? I can't actually see. I started the live stream when the car started charging, so it doesn't actually tell me how long it's been going on. Can you see it, Nathan? Does it tell you how long it's been going on for? Because I can't actually see it. But the car's 99%. Let me show you guys, and so I'll probably unplug it in a minute. Ask about me. Ask about me. It's 99%. Charging is about to be completed. And like I said, they do fine you. This guy that helped me, hey bro, this guy that helped me earlier when I was struggling to charge the car because I'm such a villager, such a nice guy. But let me go. Let me get ready to unplug, and I'll show you guys what that looks like as well. And I'll see what my final rate is gonna be. 99%. I'm just gonna wait for it to say completed, and then I'll just go and do it. I think you get like 2 minutes or something before it starts to charge you. But hope you guys have enjoyed that little summary on your round. Like I said, if you have any questions, I'll probably stick around for a few more minutes. Ask me whatever it is you want to ask me on other political issues or other political matters. Let me know what you guys think. In fact, once we have the war, I'll probably do a couple more live streams just to kind of talk about how it's going. Again, my primary focus is really going to be critiquing the media coverage, because I always say these wars could not happen without the media. Like, the media is instrumental, and everyone that knows understands that, because in as much as like, our governments just do what they want, if people were genuinely that upset about this war, it probably wouldn't happen. But again, I say that at the same time, we had 500,000 people marching regularly for the US not to do in Gaza, and I mean, I guess our approach on Gaza is not as worse as the US government's, but the UK was still involved, right? And we still provide the most important diplomatic support to Israel. So that's really what Israel wants from the UK. They don't need our money and weapons because they can get it from the US. So it can't be emphasized enough how complicit we are in the destruction of these countries. Like, it couldn't happen without us. So on the one hand, we should maybe be proud of ourselves because other people's lives are going to be destroyed because Israel wants it, and our governments are doing nothing to even just meekly say. I mean, to be fair to Keir Starmer, he did block the US using our bases to strike Iran, which some lunatic, what do you call it? Some lunatic, politicians in the UK are critiquing him, saying, "Oh my God, why will you not go along with Trump's destruction of Iran? Are you guys mad? Have you lost your mind?" And obviously, the media doesn't challenge them and say like, "Why the hell would Keir Starmer should be praised for not being complicit in the destruction of another country? That's one of the best things he's ever done." So that's kind of that. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. I'll do a couple videos on this charge and stuff so I can post that to TikTok later. So we can all celebrate Chinese engineering together. I appreciate it. I think I got 10.4k likes. I think that is 99% of that, 98% of that was Nathan and Orange Sorrow. Orange Sorrow, I don't know if you follow me already, but do make sure you follow me if you're not already. Maybe you and I can jump on a live together sometime, rap about these things. So I appreciate you being here. It's nice to not to talk to myself, and I guess you're gonna be a small part of history because when I post this to YouTube, I'm shouting you out. Shout out Orange Sorrow, shout out Nathan, shout out Burner, who was there earlier and was surprised about the fact that. See you later, man. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Anytime, man.
Also, the money that comes out,
Yeah.
did they then ratify it for how much it actually costs? Because £20 came out, and I was like, I thought it would be cheaper than that.
Used to be cheaper, not anymore.
Because my battery is tiny, so I'm not sure why that would cost £20. It's only 18 kilowatt hours.
Is it?
Yeah,
So,
it's a hybrid, so it's not like a full
it's a
electric.
hybrid.
Yeah.
It should cost less.
You should call it, yeah.
Call them. You got a number there. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw the number. Yeah.
Call them,
I'll
man.
see what
Because it
happens.
should not cost that.
Yeah, £20 is ridiculous,
No
isn't
way.
it? Yeah. So I was thinking maybe they take a holding amount, like when you go to Costco, they'll take like £120 and then they'll reduce it for whatever you actually charge. They don't do that.
No.
Why do you charge 20? Okay, I'll look into that. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
I learned a lot. First time doing this. Have a good
More
rest.
learning.
Exactly, man. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day, man.
All the best.
See you later.
See ya.
I love living in the suburbs, man. Just meeting nice people, having a good time. You just help me figure out my charging. It says charging about to be complete. I just gonna unplug it because it's 99%. I don't think it's gonna get any better than that. Right, Nathan, appreciate you being here, man. Sticking around as always. I'll leave you to it. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, man. I don't know what you have planned, but hope you enjoy that. And I will see you on the next one. Again, I just told you guys, I just paid £20 for this charging, which I will not be accepting. So I'm gonna go and see exactly why it costs £20, investigate that, and I'll let you guys know the outcome. Bye everyone. Bye Nathan. See you later, bro. Take it easy. Appreciate you being here as always.